Hello. I'm going to be doing your cute little nails today, okay? We have a color already selected that you chose off of our website. Is this correct? Yeah. So we have it right here. It is Curfew Nail Polish. I'm just going to let that sort of be clump. I'm going to shake it up just so that way it's a little more liquid and usable. And as you can see, it's nice and polka dotty right here. And it has no brush to it. Don't worry, don't fret. It will be corrected. Okay, but before we begin, I'm going to just take my little packet out and I'm going to be looking at your fingernails and I'm going to just sort of pamper them up, clean them up a little bit. Cut down the cuticle, cut down your nails, trim them up, and then just sort of give them a nice little healthy revitalization, rejuvenation, resurrection. So I'm going to move this little pad out of the way. And as you can see, I'm kind of like Evelyn O'Connor from The Mummy, where it's like I have a Rick O'Connor who has now given me this bag of archaeological tools that I can use on your fingernails. So, to go over the archaeological tools that I'm going to be using to excavate your nasty little fingernails, I have this little nail file. This nail file is going to be perfect for filing down your nails. And I think, no, it's just the handle. That's just how the handle is shaped. Then we have multiple little clippers. So we have a big one for your big toes, for your big fingers, for like ogre fingers. And then we have a small one for your delicate little normal sized human fingers. And then we have a little curved one that'll just kind of get the little hangnails a little better as well. Then we also have little pliers here that'll just kind of cut off any excess skin from the sides, those little pieces of skin. It's just going to trim that up. Trim that up. It sounds a little bit like a bird with a little sickness or something. We then have a lot of these little sticks here just to kind of clean up any of the extra or excess skin as well, any hangnails, any hanging skin, and just to kind of clean out any sort of pockets or abscesses. So we have this one to kind of go into the corner of your nail and just sort of clean that up. And then I'm going to put that one back. We have this one, which is just to kind of line up a little bit better as well, just a little file. So, with that in mind, I'm going to just kind of look over your fingernails. So if you wouldn't mind, I'll put this little nail clipper back as well. Put it back into this little package. Okay, good. Now if you wouldn't mind, could you just outstretch your fingers for me right here? Just keep them right here. Would you mind just outstretching your fingers? I'm just going to look at your little nails. Okay. Yeah. They're hideous. Grotesque. But we're going to make them very modest, very demure. So I'm just going to ask you to put your fingernails in this little dip right here. This little solution. It's going to soften up your fingernails and it's going to cleanse it thoroughly as well. So I'm just going to ask you to put your fingernails in this little solution here. Very good. And I'm just going to ask you to keep it there real quick, okay? Keep your fingernails soaking. That way it nicely cleanses it, and it also nicely softens it. So I am now first and foremost going to grab some little nail clippers. You have nice human-sized nails. So I'm just going to grab these little nail clippers, and I'm just going to give them a good little clip, 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 clip. And then I am also going to go in and I'm going to make sure that your little tiny pinky nails are also nicely taken care of as well. That way we're going to just use this little tiny little pinky nail clipper. I'm going to put that to the side. And we're also going to cut off the cuticles, or at least to trim it down. So we're just going to grab something to also push it down. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. We're going to use this tool to just trim down or push down your cuticle. And then for anything that kind of pops up, we're going to use this little piece to just pull it up, basically just pull up any of that excess or dead skin. I'm gonna move that to the side, that to the side, perfect. And then finally, just to clean up any of the excess skin that might pop up, we're also going to take this little birdie sounding tweezers, clippers. That way we could clean up any of that excess dead skin cells or skin tags that kind of hang off the side of it. And then finally, just to give a good little polishing up or a good little shape to your nails, we're also going to be filing it down. So, okay. So, with that in mind, I'm now just going to zip up this pouch. Okay, perfect. And now, I think I'm just going to give a good little look to your fingernail. So if you wouldn't mind just sort of releasing it from the solution, just pull it out. Okay. Yeah, your fingernails look nice and soft, nice and clean. So I'm just going to remove the solution, put it to the side. Okay. Okay, now I'm just going to trim your fingernails. So if you wouldn't mind just letting, I'm going to use this hand first. I'm just going to trim this up real quick. Okay, give me 1 moment. Okay, and now for the next finger. Okay. Fourth finger. And then the last one, I'm going to use the tiny little one. Okay, for your pinky. I'm just going to use this one instead. Perfect. Let me see. Okay, we're going to file it down, trim up the sides, remove the cuticle, give you a very nice, elegant, polished, demure, modest, cutesy, chic looking nail. So now for your other hand, if you wouldn't mind just sort of lifting your hand, putting it right here, right there. Yes, perfect. Okay, great. Now I'm just going to give that a little trim-trimmeroo. Okay, so I'm going to go in and trim. Okay, perfect. Next fingernail. Okay, next fingernail. Okay, perfect. Next fingernail. Okay, perfect. Next finger. Just a little tiny one. Last fingernail is going to be the pinky. So I'm just going to grab that little pinky and just. Perfect. Okay, great. So now that we've gotten those fingernails nice and trimmed, I'm just going to file them down really quickly. So I'm just going to give a little good file to it, okay? Just give me 1 moment. I might have to use a different file for one moment. Okay. Just gonna go in then. And I'm just gonna file up your nails. I want you to just once again keep your nails nice and settled. I'm gonna go with that other hand first. And I'm just gonna give it a nice little square shape. So I'm just gonna. Next fingernail. I'm going to be doing the other fingernails. So keep your hand right here for me, please. Keep your hand right there. You can lower that hand down. I'm just going to do the first finger. Perfect. Okay. Second finger. Okay, perfect. And now third finger. Tell me if I'm being too rough with you. Okay, fourth finger. Okay, and last finger. Okay, perfect. Now that we've done those two, perfect. Okay, now I'm going to be working on some of those little skin tags, little hangings or whatnot. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to give a little trimmeroo. So if you wouldn't mind putting that other hand back up, you can drop that hand down. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to look in. Okay, perfect. Okay, a little trim. Okay, very quick, very simple, very easy. So now I'm just going to be looking at this one. Trim. Okay, all done. Now I'm going to be working on your cuticle. So we just need to make sure that they're nice and lowered. Right now my cuticles are a little bit too high. So I would have to push them down, lower it, make it a little square shape, nice and squared. And then just kind of trim up that excess skin. And then I'm going to dip your hand into a new solution just to cleanse it out. Make sure that your nails are nice and sanitized. And then after that's done, I'm going to grab a little lotion for your hands and then I'm going to begin polishing them up with some black nail polish. Okay? Okay, excellent. Well, in that case, I'm just going to be pushing down your nail with this little tool. I'm going to be using this little tool to just push it down into a square shape. Okay? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to ask you to just keep that hand right there. Okay, perfect. And give me one moment. I'm just gonna push down that cuticle. Okay. Next finger. Push. Okay, perfect. Next one. Perfect. Next one. Okay, perfect. Next one. Okay, perfect. Okay, let me look at your fingers. Now I'm going to go into the next one and I'm just going to push it down again. So just lower that hand. You can keep that hand up. And I'm just going to go in and lower that cuticle to a nice little square shape. Good. Okay. Nice little square shape. Good. Nice little square shape. Good. Nice little square shape. Good. And finally, nice little square shape. Good. Okay, and now I'm just gonna give it a good little tweezing. So give me one moment. Just going to look into here and perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna give this a little tweezing. Lower that hand. You can relax it down. Lift up that hand. Perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna give a little trimmeroo around all the skin that's loose and dead. So I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna give that little trim. Next finger, trim. Okay. Next finger, trim. Okay, good. Next finger, trim. Okay, good. Next finger, trim. Okay, good. You can lower that hand again, and now you can raise up this hand over there. Very good. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of an extra trimming. Cut off all of the dead skin, all of the hanging whatever, and then after that's done we're going to put it in the solution. So trim that up. Very good. Trim. Okay, next finger, trim. Okay, good. Next finger, trim. Good. Next finger, trim. Okay, good. Next finger, trim. Okay, perfect. Good. Now I'm going to ask you to put your fingers back into a different solution. This one is nice and sanitizing, nice and cleansing as well, just to kind of keep your fingers nice and cleansed, especially since we've removed so much skin. I just want to make sure that it's all nice and clean. In the meantime, while you keep your hands in that solution, I'm just going to put away all of my tools and then collect the lotion for your hands. Okay? And then And now give me one moment. I'm going to go collect the lotion for your hands. Okay. So now I'm just going to ask you to remove your hands from that solution. Just remove it out. Okay, good. Just take it out. Okay, good. And then now I'm going to just apply a bit of this lotion. Okay. And it smells very princessy. I'm just going to apply it onto your hand, give you a little bit of a massage here. Just sort of rubbing your thumbs, working out those little muscles, pulling each finger. Okay. Other hand, pulling each finger, and then working out the muscles in your thumb, allowing your hand to just relax a little bit more. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, good. And now, to begin your nail polish. Now my hands are all lotiony and it's difficult to get the nail polish. Okay. Let's see. Permit me one moment. Pardonnez-moi. You see, the thing is that this nail polish is just so luxurious. It's so beautiful. It's so debonair that it's very difficult to access it when you try to open up the bottle. Now, keep your nails nice and flat for me, please. I'm just gonna apply. Okay, perfect. Next fingernail, just gonna apply a little bit. Okay, next finger. Okay, next finger. Okay, good. Next one. Perfect. And now for your other hand. So lay out your hand nice and flat for me, please. I'm just going to apply. Okay, perfect. 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 Okay. Nice. One swoop and your nails are all painted. Perfect. So now I'm going to blow in your fingernails. And you can go put them underneath that heat lamp so that way it kind of heats up your nails and dries them quicker. Okay. Okay, excellent. in that case, once your nails are all dried and heated and whatnot, please come to the front and then I could check you out. Okay? Okay, great. In that case, take care.